you remember when we last left our group, we had finally laid Terrence's soul to rest. That Jody and the rest of the group had found out that Terrence was actually a practitioner of magic, and he was being trained by Sidney St. Clair, which was a bit of a revelation to everybody. It had also come out that Volt had killed Terrence, but that actually Terrence had hired Volt to kill him because he could feel the darkness from whatever spell Sidney St. Clair taught him to use, gradually taking him over. That's one of the reasons he had started working in the soup kitchens, because he was trying to bring back the goodness in his heart, and it was not working. So he had been contacted by Dela's sister about whether he was getting into organized crime. He said, no, but I do need the name of a guy. And, of course, Dela's sister gave him the name of a guy who did wet work. And that was where Volt comes into it. Mm-hmm. You had defeated the Shade of Terrence. The castle had the tower had disappeared. You'd gone back up through the rift into the real world and out of the Nevernever. Beers were shared all around, and so it was the evening of the second day, believe it or not. Wow. So this has all happened in 48 hours.
Wow.
So that's
we got the fear boy.
Right, the Devilman.
Correct.
Devilman.
That's right. Also known as the Devilman.
That's right.
Have we shared the Devilman stuff with them?
I don't know anything about it.
Not yet, but considering.
Yeah.
Sure.
Volt doesn't know anything
Since
about
we
it.
survived the Neverkeep with them.
Yeah, right.
Like that the
Some of them owe us.
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't know
You guys
that.
had also gotten rid of his haunting.
Dude, out of the
That's correct.
sweetness of
The
your
haunting
heart.
was gotten
And
rid
actually,
of.
you're
you
the
know,
one that really has
There's
the
your
goods on him.
man of
Yeah, well, now everybody knows.
Well, he also has kind of the goods on
but
you, if you remember,
I
because you
also-
had fixed
I
that
have to
Saints
put that
game, and
Yep.
so rather than killing you, he had said, this guy might be good to know.
Well,
Gotta pay
Yeah.
the bill.
Gotta pay the bill, keep the lights on.
Being a man of God doesn't always pay the bills.
If you would just pray harder.
So bad.
You gotta have faith.
Now I have George Michael in my head.
Don't always get what you want.
You get what you
If
need?
you try sometimes,
Get
get what you need.
That's the one.
Alrighty, so that brings us to, you're back at Volt's little loft apartment in the top of the warehouse, and sitting around probably drinking beers, probably on folding chairs. I don't know if you have couches yet up there.
I'd probably one couch and some folding chairs and like a little small round coffee table.
Okay, I might have actually non-folding chairs over there, huh?
But
Yeah,
no
or
microwave.
something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's only like, 5 of y'all, so the couch and a couple chairs would probably take care of it. And the broken microwave.
Yeah.
Gonna need to do one of
I'm
those.
just like
Rest in
kicking
peace.
parts of that around me. Like,
Yeah, right.
you have a broom?
Sure, yes, I do.
Yes.
You should get that.
I hand it to you.
I just stare at it like, oh, no. I was just saying it was a good idea. Like,
Oh, I put it back in the closet.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you about one thing you can do with fate points, and that's a declaration. And that's kind of a neat thing to do if you maybe needed a toolbox and you had an aspect that you could tag, like always ready or something like that.
Okay.
You can use a fate point, tag that aspect, and declare, yes, I have my toolbox with me.
nice. Okay.
Or,
okay.
if you needed to arrive somewhere in the nick of time, maybe someone was being attacked, and you had an aspect like always there in the nick of time, you could tag that, and when somebody's attacked, you show up just in time to help them with whatever problem they're having. So that was something I forgot to tell you about aspects.
That's
you can
cool.
tag them for a declaration, but it has to be some kind of aspect that, kind of makes sense to go with that, which a lot of them you can be pretty flexible with. So especially with you having a toolbox, you really don't even need to tag an aspect on that. You've got one, so it doesn't matter, Alrighty, so beer and maybe pretzels is being shared up in Volt's loft apartment. What's the next move?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but that was, I don't know, I spent a lot of time as a kid, so I missed some of it. But,
It's some crazy shit for sure.
yeah. I don't know. There's just a lot been happening in the past couple of days, and it feels weirdly like there's a lot of Do you feel like we were all sort of like drawn together in some weird way?
Definitely.
Like it showed up at your house right when you were having this haunting, you know?
Yeah.
And then you show back up.
And then you
And
showed
you're
up
with him.
again.
Yeah.
With
I actually
police.
felt compelled to come
Right,
to
with the
you.
police.
I am not the police.
You're basically the magic police.
Oh, were you- has he told us that yet? About him feeling...
No, so apparently, yeah, I felt a pull to come meet up with him that night. Like a spell was maybe.
There's definitely some magic afoot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or a hand, for that matter.
Or a hand.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
A magic a hand.
Right. At hand.
Oh, at hand, yeah.
There we go.
Lord works in mysterious ways, I think, you know?
That's
And you
it's a
knew
really
Terrence.
weird way from the do it, but that's,
Huh?
You knew
That's
Terrence.
one of
It
the
sounds like
things
everybody
about
knew
in the
Terrence.
books
I
that
guess that's true.
the was it Sonya, the Russian guy with that carries the sword that you're actually carrying right now. They always tend to show up exactly where they're needed, just at the right time. So
Interesting.
that is one thing that happens very much. The hand of God is definitely on your head.
I always, whenever somebody says the Lord works in mysterious ways, I go to Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
it's been a long time.
The one where they fall through the ceiling and the rope pulls.
And they're
right,
spinning,
right,
and they get these
spin,
precision
and
shots.
It's like,
I wouldn't need this rope.
all right, Rambo, you can have your knife. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
so, Terrence's funeral is tomorrow.
It's not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. This is, believe it or not, Saturday
I know, I'm
night.
having a hard time.
His
picking days.
funeral is Monday.
Okay,
in the
this
morning,
is
around 10
Saturday.
o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, so we have a thing, I guess.
Yes, so we want to call out I forgot what he's called.
Manifestation of fear.
Yes.
Fear boy.
Yes, we want to call out Fear Boy, but what was his name? I'll look
He
it
was
up.
called the
Devilman.
Devilman.
Devilman. So have you guys heard of the Devilman?
I've heard of
Anybody?
It's like a rapper.
devils.
You know, it'd be really funny if you was.
Machine Gun
though.
Kelly.
No. But so the Devilman apparently is a fear of manifestation that has been killing the homeless.
Strike
It's a
that.
fear of
Reverse it. Okay. Manifestation of fear, not a fear of manifestation. So
Did I say
strike
fear
that.
of
Yeah.
manifestation?
Strike that. Reverse it. Right. There you go.
Excuse me. So Devilman apparently is a manifestation of fear.
That's it. You got
That's
it.
the
I was
one.
afraid I was gonna say it wrong again. Devilman is a manifestation of fear.
Correct.
That has been killing the homeless. She was told about it first, and then she told me.
It's
and
kind of been happening throughout the city, and there's been sightings. There was like one of the first-hand witness accounts witnessed this person like killing people with like was it a staff? Okay, it was a staff. Was it like a lightning attack?
And they just touched him.
Touched them, and then they had like a big burn hole where their heart was.
Right. And they had a look of abject terror on their face.
Yeah, real not good way to go. So, that I'd like to get off the streets, if at all possible. You made me a doodad. That would help with that. Worked maybe a little too well. Just saying.
I didn't tell you to wear it.
No, that was my bad. That was my bad.
But we did find out that I can wear it and can seem to contain my fear enough to be able to use it.
Really?
without-
Fantastic.
It worked.
It worked.
Just played.
So, we're trying to yeah, I guess track him down and take him off the streets. Not really a good thing that I want walking around the city, but
Got a description besides just
really big horns. You know, like a devil, and I'm like a devil man, I guess.
I need to know what
Devilman.
you were showing.
Yeah,
Here's a very good description of the Devilman.
just have him.
Great picture.
That's good. That is good.
so
That's him.
Anyway,
That is uncanny.
but
I
he It was seen around Jackson Square, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Oh, also,
Doesn't seem too intimidating.
we think
He's 9
Wow.
feet tall,
9 feet
has
tall.
horns, and a staff. And somebody
We also
said they
know
thought he
that
was
he's-
cannibalistic.
is the full moon tomorrow night, Sunday night. So
Mm.
we know that he's going to probably be at play on the full moon, which is tomorrow night, and we sort of planned a stakeout. And honestly, could use an extra couple pair of hands on creating net. If you'd be willing to help us out.
Oh no. What's the profit in it?
The profit is we just got a phantom out of your house. Hmm. And I won't charge you for that.
Oh, there's a price?
Oh, there certainly was.
We never discussed it or shook on anything, so.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
You just don't remember it.
I don't know about
When it comes
Try.
to money, dragons are pretty good about remembering.
that. Yeah.
Who
I got
said
pretty good resources.
I just think that this is a, it's a probably something that will draw attention to our community that we don't really want attention drawn to. It's being noticed by a lot of mundane, so I don't think we'll be able to keep a lid on it much longer if we don't.
Well, remember, the Devilman's been around since the 1850s for a while. But it's only been recently that he's been really kicking up his hunting. In fact, Jody got a list of around, was it 15 pages? Almost
100 names.
100 names of people have been killed. Now, not all of them were probably killed by the Devilman, but there's definitely a lot of people dying of natural causes, which is a little odd. So, yeah.
And as a side note, I don't know if this is part of what's going on, but also in Jackson Square, there are cats that are gathering. And we saw this, and they start singing, if you will. They just sing together, like they're communicating, or
It's like
it was very weird.
Brush Arbor revival, but with furry,
Yes.
terrifying animals.
So we need a video camera.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's related to Devilman. I don't know if there's
I've
something
got
else
one.
going on.
You got one?
Yeah, because I had one set up in the corner to film everything when we went in.
Probably a little GoPro.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember, I forgot till you said something. I
Ah.
remember picking one up. Yeah.
So
Got the camera.
So are you guys willing to help or not?
sounds kind of dangerous.
It
I
does.
mean,
But I guess it's a good time to sharpen my claws.
It will be dangerous, but it's gonna be dangerous walking around the city regardless. If we have a chance to corner it and jump it before it
So
becomes our problem later.
you're like the police, right?
No. I'm a warden. That's all I
That's
am.
like the police.
So
So do I get deputized?
I protect people.
Do I get deputized?
and can we get badges?
Yeah, I want a
Sure.
badge.
Sure.
Wardens don't wear badges;
Sure.
they have gray cloaks. Now you guys could have black cloaks. That might be okay, but you can't.
I'm
have
gonna
real
go to
gray
the
cloaks.
little candy store and get them one of the little cheap
I just want a
sheriff
badge. I'll be
badge.
happy.
That's what I'm gonna get, a cheap sheriff badge thing.
Well, and her cloak is actually magical. It doesn't actually defend her. It just listen. It just never seems to get dirty.
All my secrets.
Her gray cloak is
Secret.
always
That's actually
clean
really
and
cool.
shiny. Strangely enough.
They
Yeah.
have to
very
look
cool.
You
good.
have to recommend me your dry cleaner.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'll help out if I could be a deputy.
Okay. I'm going to go get some
We gotta
Well,
deputy shields.
It's about 11 p.m. All the candy stores are closed right now. Any child that went to a candy store
Except
at
the
11
one in Mobile.
That's right. Yeah, so if you're going to go to a candy store, you're going to have to wait until Sunday morning. Which, nice thing about New Orleans is everything's still pretty much open on Sunday morning. So, yeah.
Okay, well,
You can do the
Then
deputizing ceremony tomorrow too.
where? Oh,
Ooh.
a ceremony too. Wow.
Yeah.
Ceremony.
It's a ceremony.
It's
Better.
Della's a ceremony.
So, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do that. Well, if it's late, is it late?
It is.
Then I'm going to.
And your arm hurts. You probably
Say
want to go
goodnight.
to. You probably want to go to the hospital. And, well, you've had the. Actually, you don't have to. You had the potion.
So
So
I'm gonna go sleep this off.
yes, right. Because it went from a severe
I need to
to a
check.
moderate,
Moderate.
which means midway through the next adventure, which means midway through this adventure, your arm will be healed up. Any of the rest of you who had minor consequences, they're gone. Okay? So if
Did
you
we
had
Uber here, or did you ride on my bike here?
Ubered? No, or did you use the
I think
street
you on
cars?
the bikes. didn't
No, when we really talked about that, no, it's
I
street
rode
car.
the bike to
We
Trevor's,
did.
right?
I did a trolley to.
Streetcar.
Yeah.
Trolleys are in San Francisco.
I did a streetcar
Name
to
design.
Darwin's house,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to say we Ubered to the warehouse.
Right, because she had to sit in the back seat and think calm thoughts.
Oh,
Or taxi,
Just
because
probably is.
Uber probably didn't exist back then.
Right.
I don't know how long Uber's been in business.
Yeah. Don't even go near a Tesla. It should
Yeah.
be done. She'd walk near a
Well,
Tesla and it would just melt.
But you have to have a smartphone to order an Uber anyway, so she definitely didn't get it.
Well, we can consider this payment. I'll drop you back off at your places in my Chevy Impala.
is that
Isn't
old
that a
enough?
two-seater?
It's a back
67.
seat.
Oh, that's
67. As long as you think calm thoughts, then you're not going to hurt
It's
his
definitely the
Impala.
older model.
But how
Yeah.
far is Warehouse District from where I live?
Well, you live on near Frenchman Street, so it's probably about 5-6 miles.
Well,
No, I'm
further than
sorry,
I
that's
want.
not right.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 4 miles.
Okay. All right.
You should be okay for 4 miles. I mean, that shouldn't be bad, especially since your car is older. Now, if you were a newer Impala, you probably wouldn't want to try that, just because
I'll
if nothing
just-
else, your radio would quit working forever.
I'll
That
just
sounds terrible.
meditate.
All right, Jody, make me a discipline check real quick.
Uh-oh. Don't blow my car up.
Ooh, that's a good roll.
Oh, I
What's your
got
discipline?
8.
All right, so
Guess
you
that's
go
all you gotta say.
climb into the back seat. It's probably a 2-door. So, or wait a minute, I'm not sure if Impala is 67s or 40. It doesn't matter. You want 4 or 2 doors?
Let's do tour.
Okay. You climb into the back seat, thinking calm
Whatever
thoughts.
Sam and Dean Winchester's is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if theirs was a 2. I think
I feel like it was a
two-door.
two-door.
I think it's
Yeah.
a
Those two.
Well, I guess actually I've got the diecast mini over there somewhere.
Oh, did you really? Nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
It was a 2-door.
It was
with
a
a
2-door.
back seat.
I see it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Well, we can fit 2 in the back, 2 in the
Yeah.
front.
You can ride your moped back.
Yeah, I'm going home.
So all 4 of you pile into the Impala. You start the engine. It's green. Was that what we decided, or is it black?
Black. Yeah.
Okay, all right. It's not green. All right. Lime green, right?
Yeah, lime green.
It is the one.
Yeah. So you drop them off at their various
Kansas City.
residences, which interestingly enough now means you know where they live, which is probably not a bad thing to know either.
You could just drop me off at this pawn shop. I'll walk the rest of the way home.
Well, I already know where you live.
Yeah.
before this.
Oh,
That's right. That's
That's
what
right.
you dropped off. A letter, a note for her.
Well,
That's
it's
right.
not very far.
It's up just upstairs.
I just watch you go upstairs.
It's funny.
Okay, yep. I thought I was slick.
Nah, that's just sorry. So you head back to your various domiciles. I guess get ready to go to bed, and probably all of you head to bed pretty quickly after that. It has been a busy couple of days. Sunday dawns bright and early. You probably head to mass.
Yeah.
Probably 8:00 mass in the St. Louis Cathedral.
I will be going to church as well.
Okay, so you're going to church as well. Are you going to St. Louis Cathedral with her? Or just, where are you going? Go wherever you
I
want.
guess, is that the closest one to where...
Well, that's the one that's in Jackson Square. I mean, that's the
Sure,
big,
I'll go there.
big
That's where,
Catholic
that's
church.
where I will go.
Okay, so you probably run into Dela there while you're in 8:00 mass. She's going to mass as well. What are the rest of you doing?
Hey, what a treat.
I imagine whenever I wake up, I start kind of going through my resources and stuff, kind of doing like an inventory of what I might have. And in the process of doing so, I'll turn the TV on to, like one of those Joel Osteen kind of channels or whatever, just kind of have it playing in the background while I'm doing things.
There you go. There's probably several of those, or at least some radio stations for sure. Yeah, it looks like you're still pretty good on most of your materials you need to do things. You could probably actually even sit down and replenish your healing potion real quick.
Probably
It'll
need
probably
to.
take you an hour to do
Yeah.
that or something like that. And you can listen to a worship service while you're doing that too. Okay, so replenishing your healing potion, listening to something on the telly, something like that.
I'll probably sleep in since I'm still kind of hurt.
Right,
and try to practice my trombone. And hopefully my arm's not too messed up from that.
Yeah, no, your arm's feeling pretty good. Definitely the healing potion has helped. So yeah, you're able to practice. Doesn't seem like it's affecting anything. It's a little tender, a little sore every once in a while when you go for the long extensions or the short extensions. You kind of feel a pinch in this area, but yeah, you're gonna be fine. Give it a little more time, maybe a couple more days, and it'll be good. All right, Volt.
I'm probably working on renovating the warehouse out.
Okay.
Moving clutter and debris and stuff out,
Right.
making it more of a lair.
Mm-hmm.
Just slowly working to that point.
Right. There's a good bit of clutter in there when you chased out the guys who.
And I need to sweep the
Right.
the microwave up too.
Pieces up, yeah. Well, and you probably want to take those out of there and throw them away because microwaves can sometimes have some pretty nasty stuff in them. So you get that cleaned up, take it to probably one of the local dumpsters. On the bottom floor, there's some crates that were left there by the guys you had chased out. You probably want to go through them and see what's in them,
Definitely.
especially in case there might be some contraband, maybe
Drugs,
stuff
illegal
you
weapons.
don't want to get caught with. Right. You start going through the crates. Most of it is electronics, low-end electronics that looks like fell off the back of a truck and these guys were holding, or maybe somebody had stolen it and, we're putting it there. None of it's anything you really want to keep. You're not even really sure where
Is there a microwave?
There actually is. There's even a toaster oven if you really want to get crazy.
Yeah.
There's a nice stereo system, probably nicer than yours. You were probably had like a little boom box or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're going through.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a nice stereo. It's a cheap stereo, but it's got better
decent.
speakers than what you've got.
I will definitely
doesn't need
repurpose and
Well, they're not coming back for it.
liberating these things from
Right.
the evildoers and
That's
putting
right.
them to good use.
That's right.
That's what I'm doing.
There's about 4 or 5 toaster ovens. There's a couple microwaves.
Y'all want some toaster ovens?
Anyone else want some?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Keep one back.
Yeah, that's right. You give him a call real quick. He toaster oven, rolls back over and goes to sleep. Right.
A toaster oven
it's like,
probably
oh,
works better for me than a microwave.
You get through about 10 of these really cheap stereos that you're kind of using. There's some car stereos. None of them are as nice as the stereo you've got in your car. Nothing. A couple VCRs, DVD players. All of them really pretty low end. Nothing really exciting. There is a TV or two. They're about 27-inch televisions. They're not real big. And there is a actual home entertainment, the sound system to go with it. And you're thinking, oh, that's kind of nice. I can put that to use. So you grab the TV, take them upstairs, the sound system, and kind of start hooking it up. You've gotten through about maybe a third of the boxes. And you've been gradually moving stuff out into the dumpsters. You especially don't want hot items sitting in your warehouse if the popo come by.
Yeah.
And so you've gotten through about a third of them. And it's gotten to be probably about 10 o'clock, and you get all the way through this one stack of stuff, and it all moved out, and the microwave cleaned up. You guys have gotten out of mass at 9 o'clock. Anything in particular you want to do after you get out of mass?
I'll probably refresh any supplies that I can get at the chapel, like
Okay.
any holy waters or
Right.
things like that I would need to get.
Right, shouldn't be any problem to get that.
Then probably right after Mass, I do my street sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Kind
Okay.
of being inspired from the
Right.
recent events. I will
You're gonna do
preach
it
on,
Jackson Square?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
I will do, as my scripture, 1 John 3:3, whosoever has hope in him purifies himself and is purified. And talk about redemption and
You
that's what I
do your little sermon. Most of the practitioners around Jackson Square don't really listen much. They're doing tarot readings or tarot.
For sure.
Tarot readings. Tarot's a root. We used to make. I don't know.
terrible.
They're reading palms. They're reading cards. They're not. I mean, they're trying to make a buck, so they're not really listening very much. You do notice a few of them stop and kind of come over and listen, and they don't say much of anything, but then go back to their work. A few of the artists stop and listen to you. You get a lot of tourists that stop by and listen. A couple of them, I like what you're saying. They hand you $1, $5 there. You actually wind up coming out with about $20 from this. Donations, so kind of cool stuff. But yeah, you finish up. I assume you're probably hanging around and listening to this. Yes? No?
No, I'm shopping for badges.
Oh, right. So you head into the French Quarter, find a little candy store that always has all the cool sodas and candy and stuff like that. You are able to find some badges. How many are you getting?
I'm gonna get 3
Okay.
just to be safe.
That's not a bad idea. So you grab those badges. Anything else you want to get from the candy store?
I'll grab some candies.
Okay, cool. Anything particular?
Not the Turkish delight. Maybe some like root beer barrels and, you know.
So you grab a bag of those. It probably comes to maybe $10 total. It's very
Some
very
raisins.
some raisins. I don't know if the candy
Chocolate
store-
covered raisins.
That thing might have. I was gonna say just straight raisins that you don't get that candy
Raisins.
store.
The caramel hard candies.
Oh.
I heard raisins as well.
I'm sorry, that was
And I
my bad
Yeah, the little hard
pronunciation.
caramel, the round. They're
They're called raisins?
yes. You would see them there. So you can
I
grab
think
a
it's
roll
a
of them.
pun on like reasons to eat one. You know?
Ah.
Like I don't know exactly what the.
I thought it was like Swedish or
It
German.
could be a
or something.
last
I don't
name
know.
in a foreign
Okay.
language.
So you,
I
you
don't know
can
what
find
I'm
those
talking
there and grab her one.
I'll get a couple boxes of gobstoppers too. They're
Okay.
good for a stakeout.
Always good. You finish remaking a healing potion. You got that all set up and put into your utility belt. It's probably now about 10:30. You finished going through the first, stack of boxes. You probably just rolled out of bed. Maybe are thinking about, what do I want to eat today? Besides black coffee.
Yeah.
And so, what's next, guys and gals?
I'll find a homeless person to give that offering to.
Okay.
And then I will probably go try to hunt down Dela.
Okay. You could definitely find a homeless person around Jackson Square who will take that $20 off your hand easily. Yes, faux show.
Easy.
Then you head toward Dela's place. It's not too far from her. You're not too far from her house, really. What are you doing after you get all these things? You heading home?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna head back to the house.
All right. You roll up to the house just about the time you see Dela go inside through the front door. So it's like, oh, she just got home too. And you did see her at mass, so you know she was there.
Right.
So that's pretty good timing.
I think just real quick because it's been a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
Was I there when you did the ritual to purify your house or no? So I don't know about that. Okay.
Yeah, I think you left. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it
Right.
because we both came over to Vault's place.
So I do know that you.
Yeah, you know
handled
that it was
okay,
done.
Okay.
This house is clean. Right?
I'm pretty sure we probably told you.
All right.
That's what I was just saying. We definitely told her.
Yeah.
She just
Okay.
wasn't there.
When it happened. Gotcha. Okay. Knock, knock.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
What's up?
I just wrapped up in the square. Did you get everything that you needed for tonight?
Yep, I pull out the shiny little badges.
The
Nice.
plastic badges.
Yes, the shiny plastic badges.
We need to go round up our deputies.
Yes. Did we tell them where we were gonna meet them and when?
I have Volt's phone number and Darwin's phone number now. So I guess we could get in touch and play the chain. We could maybe do dinner tonight before the stakeout, and then like
Sounds
an
good.
early dinner before sunset, and then make a plan.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So you give Darwin a call first. You get a call from Miranda. What's the story? Morning glory.
Hello?
Hey, I'm sorry about your sandwich. Just wanted to say. He's still a little sore about it. I'll give him a minute to cool up. I'll call Krugel.
Krugel. Nice.
Uncle Walt.
All right.
He needs a minute. He needs a minute.
All right, Bolt. You get a phone call on your cell phone.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Just sorting stuff out.
Sorting stuff out, like mid, cleaning up,
Like moving boxes and putting in the new stereo.
Gotcha. Hey, so did you charge up that camera?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Hey, so we don't have Bunk's number. Are you in contact with him?
Yeah, I can call him.
Okay, cool. Maybe you wanna, if you feel like grabbing him, you could meet us at Muriel's, say around 4:30.
All right.
I don't know what time it gets dark and what.
About 6 or 7.
Okay, 5:30.
Sure, I'll be there.
Sounds great.
Yo, do you want a toaster oven or anything like that?
I would not say no to a toaster oven.
All right, cool. I found some. Click.
Not a lot of people like having long conversations with me.
It's not.
I just don't want to invite any questionable questions about.
Right.
How these
Gotcha,
things will
gotcha,
procure.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
What do
gonna
you mean
try to-
found? Nothing.
I'm gonna try to. You know what? I should probably just go to Darwin's. I'll just bring a peace offering.
Okay. I'll just meet you
Yeah.
at Muriel's then.
Sounds good. I'm gonna go find a really nice like po' boy or sandwich shop and get a replacement sandwich, like a very nice, you know, like a Reuben or a full on like.
Reuben.
Pretty good.
I'll get a couple of options. I'll get like a shrimp po' boy and a like a cold cut sandwich.
All right. So you get a couple sandwiches for Darwin, and then head to his place.
Yes.
So I feel like Darwin would like to believe that, Sundays are like a him kind of day.
Sure.
So, he takes inventory of things, he, listens to a little, stuff on the TV, probably cleans up his house some, maybe do any kind of little maintenance he feels like on the moped kind of thing,
Right.
just a day, just
Yeah.
kind of bill around.
Makes a few more bullets for the gun because
Right.
you've used a couple of them. Yeah. Right. Right. Makes some more ammo. So
Yeah, so just setting that as like, what's up?
Right.
Hey, it's me. Hey, I got food. Got food. Some good food.
Hey, it's you.
How's it going? How is it on this lovely Sunday morning at what? Probably not even 11 o'clock yet.
It's about 11 actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm
Hi.
doing okay. How are
Good,
you?
good. Great. I brought lunch.
Okay.
It's a peace offering for,
It's a big bag.
Big bag.
Yeah.
You know, open and look
Um,
inside.
and I've already eaten, so that's all for you.
There's a couple sandwiches in there, some fries. Looks like maybe a bowl of something, gumbo-ish or something along those lines.
So more than I have any right to reasonably eat within. Okay, that's.
You got a refrigerator.
Yeah,
so it's
it's-
okay.
I felt bad about,
No, that's fine. You don't have to bring it up every time we talk.
Sure. It's just my guilt, it weighs on me, and I have to.
She's a good Catholic girl.
I'm
so there you go.
I'm into righting my wrongs and that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Well, would you like to come in?
Yes, thanks. Am I interrupting? I'm looking around, probably all his components and things laying around and
No, I feel
smelting.
like most of the
tools.
components are.
Probably in
You've
the back.
probably gotten most of it.
Yeah.
If you've been up since 9 o'clock, you've probably gotten everything done except maybe the moped.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. So no, the house itself sure looked a bit more picked up than and put together than it probably did before.
Last time. Nice, tidy. Okay, cool. So what are your plans for today?
I'll still need to work on the moped for a little bit, but other than that, I don't know. Maybe flip through a couple of catalogs, see what's around.
Cool, fun. Down for a demon hunt later tonight, dinner at Muriel's and then demon hunt. Could be
Not gonna lie,
fun.
that sounds awful.
It does sound so awful, but it would be super helpful to have you there. And I understand if you don't want to come, but I could even help with the moped maybe and get it done faster. I don't know anything about bike mechanics at all, but I'll hand you wrenches and stuff.
I'm just saying, last night was an experience.
Yeah. I've never seen a dragon before.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was something.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also I guess the tower and the Grim Reapers and the whole mind control thing was also.
Yeah, first time in the Nevernever too. It's
Oh.
weird.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Never been personally.
Same until last night.
Yeah. Kind of wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know. I think I was expecting it to be I don't know.
More awful? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, it seemed about the right amount of awful to me. That was.
I guess I was thinking it would be more ethereal. Maybe. When I think of awful, I think of hell, and it's so I wasn't expecting it to be hellish.
I think of awful. I just think of purgatory. Just nothing.
Yeah, that was especially the cubicle thing. That was definitely purgatory vibes. 100% purgatory vibes. So what's wrong with the moped?
Nothing. Just
Just maintenance.
yeah.
Things like that. Okay, cool.
And just try to do that usually
Well,
every Sunday.
I can't make promises that we won't get like sucked into another interdimensional fight or anything tonight, but I am hoping that what we're up against now we're more equipped for and we're more prepared and something maybe a little more in my wheelhouse, although I can't really know that for sure. So, if you'd be down to help us out,
What's the worst thing that could happen?
we could die. But that could happen
I
on
really want to go now.
Yeah, man.
that could happen
Sign
on
me
like
up.
you could get into a moped accident and die
See,
too.
That's counterpoint.
I feel like at that point though,
Checkmate.
at that point though, I feel like I have a little bit more control over personally choosing to go towards death. I feel like that one's more of a random occurrence.
Right. I get that. I tell you what, if it seems like we're going to die, I will. Sorry.
No, by all means, if it seems like we're going to die.
This is gallows humor. This isn't funny to me at all. I will protect
Smile
you.
says otherwise.
It's just because mortal danger is really funny sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, I promise to protect you, okay? I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. I'll protect you.
You do know she has a pretty cool
like,
looking
pull out your
sword, and she
sword.
seems to know how to use it pretty well too.
Also, you don't have to get up in it like you did last time, Feel free to stand behind
That
me
wasn't
as a
my
human
choice.
Yeah,
It came straight at us.
That's true. That's fair.
I
but yeah.
used the warden as a shield.
I'm
As
assuming.
well you should.
That's right.
I'm assuming there's just the one Devilman,
There's a possibility of more?
No. I'm saying we fought 4 Grim Reapers and one almost died and it was really bad. But
I know, I saw.
I'm saying.
Did you see his arm?
Yeah, hey, cool thing though. You really fixed that up, proving my point, which is we need you. We really need you there.
I don't like this.
I know, I don't either. Hey, if I could choose to not have a Devilman killing people in the city and not deal with it, that would also be optimal. It's just not what's happening.
But it seems like I have a choice of not doing this.
No, you do. You totally do, which is why I'm here literally begging you to come. I promise I will stand in the gap between you and danger.
I reach into the bag and I pull a sandwich. If someone dies, I'm running.
Okay. That's fair. Can you make more of those healing potion things?
Did earlier.
Okay.
Already did.
Hey, look, see, part of your heart knew that you were not gonna leave us out in the cold on this one.
That's what it was.
You were prepared.
That's what it was.
That's it.
You're a good man.
It's not part of my usual standard routine or anything.
It was destiny or density or something.
Yeah, one of those
right?
things.
Yeah.
All right, let's fix this moped.
All right, so you guys go out to work on the moped. Sure enough, as she said, she doesn't know a whole lot about mechanical items, but she is good for handing you wrenches and periodically handing you different parts that need to be worked on. It takes a couple hours to make sure everything's good to work on the moped. So about 1:00, you're pretty much ready. It's back to where you want it to be. What are you guys gonna do after 1:00?
Anything else you need my help with?
I mean, at that point, I feel like most of my day is pretty much done.
Well, if you need to grab a nap, I'm probably going to head back to my place, grab any supplies that I need, and then...
I don't think I need a nap. I think at that point, though, if we're just kind of set on our little trajectory here, I'll just follow you around then.
Okay.
All right, so how did you get there, by the way?
I probably took
He doesn't live real far from you. He's definitely closer to you than
Probably.
you are to Dela. Because remember, he's kind of in the area of the garden district that's undergoing gentrification.
I probably took the streetcar
You
to
probably
get here just like last time, and if it's not like terribly far, I also don't have. I'm not averse to walking.
right.
You know, if I've
right.
got time.
Okay, so you guys probably hop a streetcar, head back to her place. She goes to the pawn shop. Are you going to pick up anything from the pawn shop? You got most of your stuff you needed already because you were
That's
actually
right,
intending to
actually,
go
I
last night and
That's right.
wound up having to take care of Terrence, right?
Yeah. So maybe we didn't go to the pawn shop. Maybe, any other errands you want to run today? Oh, what if? Let's go to a voodoo shop.
Why?
Okay, they have really good candles. It's not my thing either,
They do.
but they have really good candles.
They do. This is true.
That faces.
We have some time to kill.
It is an interesting place to go to. This.
Also, you know, there might be somebody there who's like heard word on the street about these cats.
I think you're just making this better.
Told you once already, cats don't have masks in Tennessee. I don't understand what the problem is.
Didn't really have them in Florida either, however.
The one voodoo shop that you know of that is pretty. The big place to go is named Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo.
Perfect.
Yeah,
On the off chance that they might have some kind of unique ingredients there,
there is that.
then I'll go.
Yeah.
That's how you sell things to me.
This is the outside
Candles.
of
I
it.
did that.
That is Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. That's what it looks like.
Ooh, cute.
So yeah, you can actually go in there. So you're able to go in there. There's several sets of tourists. What's that?
Pencil.
Oh.
Mine's not working
Uh-oh.
anymore. Thank you.
There's several sets of tourists that are in there, and it is kind of a touristy place. It's a bookstore. There's lots of books. There's lots of little voodoo doll kits that they sell there, things like that. There's also it says that they do readings and things like. Also, if you want your palm read, or if you want a tarot reading, and things along those lines.
What comes in a voodoo doll kit? Just curious.
A little voodoo doll. There's like some pins, and then there's a little paper in the back that tells you how to do the spell to get it to work. So you're not sure how legit that is. It sounds kind of like something you would
Touristy.
sell to the. It sounds like something you would sell to the rubes from out of town. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know how to do real magic, and
Right.
you know that voodoo dolls can be done this way. In fact, you can actually do some pretty nasty magic. But you're kind of going, I don't know about this. Let me see if I can find the picture of the woman. Yes, when you come inside, there's I won't say elderly. She's probably in her 40s, maybe 50s, but she's what can only be described as just an absolutely beautiful, maybe her skin's a little lighter colored. You think maybe she's got some French, blood in her because her eyes are. If you've ever seen the pictures of the typical voodoo priestess, with the kind of the coffee skin, and she's got the wrap on her head. This is who you're seeing, and she's 50 years old. You think she looks like she's maybe 30. I mean, she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. You're like, wow, what a beautiful woman. And she's standing behind the counter. The entire shop is kind of made of rough wood, and it's got some stairs that you can go up to, with the second floors. She's standing behind the counter, and she looks and she says, "Welcome to Marie Laveau's. I'm Anne-Marie Laveau. Is there anything you're looking for in particular?" And when she says it, it's just her voice is like this kind of satin or a nun with a past, and it just kind of wraps around you, and it kind of sends a shiver up and down your spine. You're just kind of like, wow, this woman is just, I don't get these kind of feelings about like this all the time, but wow, it makes you, tingle a little bit. And she smiles at you and says, anything in particular you're looking for, sir? Or ma'am?
Eucalyptus candles.
Eucalyptus candles are upstairs. My daughter should be able to help you up there if you will go up the stairs.
Perfect.
She says, anything for you, sir?
Just sort of leave Darwin to fend for himself.
Yeah, there you go.
So nice of you.
Yeah, leave him
Natural.
alone with the sexy voodoo priestess.
It's kind of like looking around. Like, is there anything that kind of catches my eye? That's...
Well, there's a lot of stuff around there. You notice that there's some things behind the counter that look like they might actually be things like, one of them says like ghost dust, and another one says, grave dirt. And you're thinking that maybe they actually do a minor business in selling stuff to actual practitioners. So, interestingly enough. But most of the stuff out there is, like love candles or candles to the Loa of prosperity and stuff like that. So, very much stuff that you would sell to people who are coming from out of town.
Right.
So, yeah. But it does seem like she has a little bit of stuff behind the counter.
That being said, then I was like, kind of just a little look around real quick and like, actually, actual grave dirt? Just wondering.
She says, so you're not interested in one of our voodoo doll kits or maybe one of the true love candles?
And I look
Again,
back
that
like,
when she says true love, you kind of tingle a little bit. Ooh, yeah.
no.
And she says, well, let me see. And so she turns around and she pulls up the jar, and it's got this dirt in it. You notice that the dirt has, little pieces of grass in it. There's no worms or no bugs or anything like that. She says, this dirt was gathered under the new moon in a cemetery outside of New Orleans. Of course, as you know, most of the cemeteries here are watched very closely. I can guarantee its authenticity.
Remembering back to when we were first trying to figure out the whole conundrum and whatnot with the house and those ghosts, and thinking that I could have really used some grave dirt then. I had to make do with some other things I had, but...
Well, she's also got some things like, looks like what's a black cat bone. There's some other things like powdered cemetery dust, which comes from, that they powdered basically one of the headstones or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff back there. All of it's kind of spooky. But, some of it's not. Some of it's like willow bark, which is not bad stuff to have either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. At that point, kind of like look around and just kind of like, yeah, I might actually take a few of these, if you don't mind, if that's the, just start like pointing out some of the little
She
things
gets them
in there.
down and puts them on the counter, and if you want to see if they're authentic, you're going to have to make a lore check, okay? And I'll let you just do one check for all of them, pretty much.
So that would be +2.
Tag an aspect, you get a +2.
I'm thinking about it.
Not a bad idea. What kind of lore aspect are you going to use?
I personally feel like I might have a couple of good ones.
Okay, what's one?
Like
You can tag 2 different aspects if you want and get a total +4. Okay, but they have to be reasonably reasonable.
yeah, like one of the things I was thinking was new place, new life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never been to this place.
Right.
Another one is questionable acquaintances.
I'm not sure either one of those would really help you with identifying whether this stuff is legit. Maybe New Place, New Life would. I'll let you tag that one. I'm not sure about questionable acquaintances. I don't know about that. So, yeah. Okay, so new Place, New Life. That'll give you a +2.
What about quantity over quality?
That probably makes a little more sense to me, actually.
Yeah.
So let's go with that one. Okay, so I'll take one of your little things back.
Yeah.
You look at the stuff she's put down, the dust, the grave dirt. All of it seems to be pretty good. You're noticing it's got the right color, it's got the right consistency, pretty high quality stuff, actually. When she hands you one of the jars, your hand brushes up against hers, and there's kind of an electric shock, which is the way you know that you're dealing with a practitioner.
Right.
All practitioners, when they touch each other, you get this kind of static electricity charge. And she looks at you. Okay. And she looks at you and smiles, and I'm going to see how to do this real quick, because you're going to enter into what's called a soul gaze. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how to do
She's gonna
those.
get you.
This was just a waste time until dinner.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
All right, first time someone with the soul gaze ability meets the gaze of someone else with a mortal soul for more than a few moments, they enter a state called soul gazing. Generally, this can't happen unless both parties want to make eye contact. So you feel like you're gonna see into each other's souls, but you can, of course, avert your eyes quickly if you don't want that to happen.
I think you got to whiff that love potion.
I feel an aversion going on.
I'm thinking soul glow.
Honestly, like the way things are going, I feel like I would look at her
Okay.
just for the sake of fact, just like, hey, blah blah whatever, and zzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
It's that impulse of like,
you notice she has these rich, dark eyes, almost black, and then you feel yourself kind of being pulled forward, like you're going down into a deep, deep well. Now, understand, she's going to be able to look into your soul as well. So
Fair enough.
it's a two-way street. Okay. You see her. You're falling forward, and all of a sudden there's a sound like thunder, and you notice that out across the water, you can see that there's a hurricane coming towards you. And so you're standing on the levee with a young man who very obviously looks like your son. I mean, the same kind of facial features and the same kind of eyes. And he's standing there with 2 or 3 other people who maybe are practitioners. And he's got his hand up against the sky, and you can literally see these pulsing waves coming out from his hand. And the people around him are chanting, and you're standing there chanting, and you see the hurricane, as it starts coming towards you, slow down. And then you realize it's about to turn away from New Orleans and go off to the west, which, if you remember, Katrina didn't hit New Orleans. It actually hit Bay St. Louis. And so he's standing there, and you can see these streamers coming out from his hand, but you can also see it's like these chains are trying to drag the hurricane towards New Orleans. And so he's fighting against something that's pulling the hurricane towards New Orleans, and he's pushing it away, and the chanting gets louder and louder and louder and louder, and all of a sudden he grabs his chest and drops to one knee. And the woman, who you realize is Anne-Marie, screams and goes over to him and grabs him, and he drops to the ground, and his eyes start to flutter, and he falls over on his back, and he's grabbing his chest, and and then she goes over, and she's praying and oh Lord, don't take him, and his heart stops, and she lets out a cry of pain, and then the vision ends. Okay? And so she looks at you, and you notice that actually her eyes are kind of a little damp, and she says, people don't normally see that about me. Are you planning to purchase these things? And you notice that she was really warm and friendly, and you kind of had this, almost flirty feeling to her. That's all gone now. She is business.
I'm just seeing this like aura of awkwardness.
Right.
Like, what?
That's my existence.
Are you going to
She said it
purchase
would be
these
safe
things?
to come here.
So I kind of take a moment, so just kind of like processing, and then just grab the love candle. And I was like, yeah.
She looks at you and she says, I would appreciate it if you wouldn't share what you saw with anyone. Mainly because my son is the one who you saw perish, and he has family in the city.
Yeah, it's not a word.
Okay. And so she bundles all this stuff up and hands it to you and says, "Take it and go." But it doesn't seem like she's mad. It seems like she's just kind of, these emotions are still pretty raw, and that you've just kind of brought them to the surface, and she's just trying to kind of work through them so that she doesn't let her guard down.
Yeah.
And then, you head towards the door. You come downstairs.
Looking really disappointed, and I'm like, they were all shaped like penises. Can't buy that.
There you go. And so you see Darwin heading out the door, actually. And the lady behind the counter sees you and says, and she smiles kind of warmly, but her demeanor has changed. There's a kind of a sadness that you're getting off of her at this point. And she says, "Well, I will see if I can order a new set of candles, maybe something more along like what you're looking for."
Yeah, just something in a glass, something just less phallic would be great.
She says, "Oh, well, here." And she reaches behind the counter and brings out this cute little Yankee candle on it.
Oh,
and
perfect.
It's a eucalyptus
exactly
candle.
what I was looking. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, she says, "Well, that'll be $12.
Perfect. Okay.
Hand her the $12. She wraps it up for you and she says, "Thank you. Come again. I'll make sure I keep some of these on hand for you if you're interested."
Great. Yeah, I go through a lot. I have a lot of stress, so go through a lot of aromatherapy candles.
And as you're getting ready to leave, you notice her hand brushes your hand, and of course you don't get any electric shock because you're not a practitioner. And so she kind of looks at you askance and she says, "Be careful of your friend. He is maybe putting himself into a situation that could be very dangerous for him."
Oh yeah, I did that. I'm.
No, she looks at, no. She looks at you and says,
No, she's right.
No. She looks at you and says, "I'm not talking about what you're doing tonight. I'm talking about that by distancing himself from his friends, a lone creature is easier to take than one that is in a pack." And so she says, "But you know what I'm talking about." And so she says, "Have a good day," and kind of smiles.
I do, and I just perplexedly, sort of walk out with my Yankee candle.
She comes out with a candle in a bag. It's a Yankee candle. It's very nice.
I think I'm still processing.
You probably are. Yeah. And you're kind of
I think I'm
realizing
also
that her son literally gave his life to probably protect New Orleans from the hurricane, from Katrina. But that the big thing was that somebody was pulling the hurricane to New Orleans to try and decimate the city with it. So there's definitely some, moving hurricanes around is pretty serious ritual magic. I mean, you're very familiar with ritual magic. That's probably a little out of what you've ever done before. And
Only a little.
Yeah. You never know. So you're kind of looking at it going, "Wow, that's somebody was moving some serious power around and was being fought by some people who were moving some serious power around too." So it's some big stuff going on. All right, so you've got your stuff. You got your stuff. It's probably around 3:30. Now you're supposed to meet with everybody at 5:30. Muriel's is probably 30 minutes from there, if that. So you could get there at 4 o'clock if you want. They do have a nice bar.
So that being said, how long would it take to get from Marie Laveau's place to my house and then back to where we're supposed to meet?
Oh, you could easily do that in 45 minutes. Easily.
I want to do that because I want to carry around the jars and stuff.
I can understand that. You could probably take your candle back to your apartment above the...
I'm going to bring it with me.
You can bring it with you? Okay. So, you going to head with him to his house?
I'm just going to follow him around until it's time to go.
I can only think, he started off, he was nervous. She made it worse. He went there, it made it worse. I hope he leaves
Probably
the house.
when we get to the house, if I'm figuring his demeanor, I might just leave the candle.
But you don't want to carry it around either. It might get
He
broken.
needs that.
All right. So you drop your stuff off at the house. She
Right.
just says she's going to leave her candle there and she'll pick it up later because she doesn't want it to get broken. You probably got all your little messenger bag full of stakeout kit and
I'm
things
ready.
along those lines. All right, so
Real quick, make sure I have my stuff.
that's right, you do.
Yep.
Hey, Macarena. All right, so there you go. So what are the rest of you doing? It's probably around 1 in the afternoon.
So
I'll
what
probably call Bunk.
time of year is this?
Time of year, it's November. It's a little cool. Yeah.
2009?
2010. Yeah.
Probably watching the Saints game.
This is true. You probably
Yeah,
are.
it is Sunday.
I am going to have a little backpack that I'm going to put in like waters and snackage, just things, and then stuff that I might need
Right.
as a warden to take with me.
So you're packing your stuff up,
A
right?
bit after I pack, it's not going to take me that long. I figure I do stuff, so I'm going to pack that stuff up, and then I'm going to sit down with a list of the 100 names and see if I can see if there were locations for them, or if I can kind of figure out
Some kind of
where
pattern.
it's
Gotcha.
some kind of pattern, or
Right.
where did most of it happen.
Well, remember, he printed out for you only stuff that was in the Garden District and the French Quarter. So it's all in that area. You do notice that none of it is around Jackson Square. You notice that none of it is around Audubon Park. Other than that, it's kind of random. Most of it's on little side streets. All of it's after dark, of course. The ones that you think are probably the Devilman. Now, some of them are like I said, psoriasis of the liver, or they died of lung cancer.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna cross those off.
Right. And so you narrow it down to about 30 people who might have been killed by the Devilman. And again, all of them are in kind of back alleys, back streets, things along those lines, and they're all, of course, natural causes. So yeah.
And so they were in back alleys and back streets,
Right.
but not Jackson Square.
Right. It's funny because the Devilman doesn't kill anybody in Jackson Square, doesn't seem like, and he doesn't kill anybody in Audubon Park, down where the zoo is.
But it's not like there's a path or a line or.
It's just kind of random. Again, secluded areas seems to be the modus operandi.
And did the police on the report, were there dates next to when the people died?
Yeah, well, just dates.
Can I tell if it was was there a pattern of dates, like 2 days between, a week between,
It's
like a bunch
almost,
to nothing, a bunch to nothing?
it's almost a random. Sometimes it's 2 days before one turns up. Sometimes it's a week. But, it's been in 3 weeks. So most of the time, if there's got 30 people in 3 weeks, most of them were about one a day or something like that. There was kind of a long period in there where nobody was found for a week, but then it's about one a day. They even have a couple days where there were 2 people found.
Okay, so do I know where Miranda lives?
Yeah, you do.
I'm going to hop on my bike
Okay.
and bike to her place because I want to, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you had headed over to his place. You head to Miranda's place. It's above a pawn shop. Go inside. Pawn shop owner has a bunch of kind of stuff there. What are you gonna ask him?
Is Miranda around?
No, she left early this morning. I haven't seen her since. Who should I ask? Who should I say is looking for her?
Dela.
Dela. Okay. Look, if she gets back, I'll tell her you came looking for her.
Okay.
All right. So you head out. It's probably, like I said, around 1 o'clock or something along those lines. Maybe 1:30. It probably took you 30 minutes to get your stuff together. Probably maybe another 30 minutes to ride over there. It might be 2 o'clock.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. She told me. I'm thinking about the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Isolde. I'm gonna go look for Sister Isolde in Jackson Square.
You hop on your bike, head to Jackson Square again. Again, most of the card readers, palm readers are there. There's a lot of artists that are selling their wares. You're looking for Sister Isolde. You don't really know what she looks like is the problem.
Right, so I'm gonna ask around. Hey, I'm looking for Sister Isolde. Can you guys help me out?
You head to one of the first booths that's there. You say, "Hey, have you seen Sister Isolde?" And the guy says, "Yeah, she's down around the corner, right next to the guy who does the pretty Japanese writing."
Oh, okay, cool.
You head around the corner. Lots of tourists walking around, all of them, with daiquiris and stuff like that. You notice that a wedding has just finished up at St. Louis Cathedral, and so there's people taking pictures and things along those lines. You head around the corner, and there's the guy, the little Asian gentleman who always did the really cool signs that had different letters. And you see a lady wearing glasses, dark hair. She's a little older, maybe 40 years older. And she's sitting at a table, got an umbrella over her to keep her kind of cool. But it's November, so she's not really keeping cool. It's mainly keeping the sun off of her. And she's sitting there and she's sorting through what looks like tarot cards. Nobody seems to be getting a reading from her right now, but she's just sitting there.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up and say, "Hi, Sister Isolde."
And she looks up at you and she says, "Who's asking?"
I'm Dela. I'm a friend of Miranda's.
Miranda, the street preacher.
Yes,
Yeah, she was
ma'am.
out preaching earlier today. Seemed to be doing pretty well. She's not the typical hellfire and brimstone type. She talked to me the other night. In fact, I think she's all right.
Yeah, I had a couple questions because she and I were talking and we actually saw it too. The cats that you mentioned to her that gather.
Cats that tend to be inside the garden. Yes.
Yeah. Do you happen to know, or have you heard anybody talking about maybe the same thing happening out in the Audubon
Well,
park area?
I don't get down to Audubon Park very much. The only thing I really do is around here. I've got a place that I live in nearby. No, not that I can say of. The cats really don't bother anybody, but then we don't bother them either. Most of the time around dark, we're folding up our carts and getting out of there. I've seen the cats a few times. I just give them a wide berth. Cats are not good most of the time.
Yeah.
Especially not for those of us who traffic in other powers.
Right. I understand. Thank you. I'll give her a couple bucks for taking up her time.
Well,
Or
when you
maybe
get her a
5.
couple bucks, she says, "Oh, well, then you've got to sit down and let me do a reading."
No, I'd rather not.
Okay.
Thank you.
She takes out a package of cigarettes and taps them out and lights one up and sits there and just kind of the smoke just kind of spirals up and she says, "Well, good luck,"
Thanks.
and you head off.
How long would it take me to get to Audubon Park?
Let's see, it's about 2:00. Riding your bike, you could probably get down there in 30 minutes.
And we're meeting at 5:30.
Right.
Right. So I'm gonna hop on my handy dandy bike and I'm going to ride to Audubon Park.
Okay. You hop on your bike.
And I'm gonna stop off to get some paint pens, some metallic gold paint pen,
Okay, you can do that.
and then like a little black Sharpie.
Okay, you can do that. No problem at all. You're able to do that, and so you head towards the park. It takes you around 45 minutes to get down there. You remember the park has lots of trees, lots of people out. There's lots of people in the park until about, you've been there maybe 15 minutes, and then the park clears out because you realize the Saints game has started. And so the park clears out a good bit. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna look around for anybody who seems like this is probably where they hang out, either panhandling or, just to rest. The people that people ignore, but are always there.
Interesting thing about that, you don't see anybody really that meets that description. There's a lot of people that basically go to Loyola University that like to come out and run through the park, and so it's got a lot of people like that. But other than that, like you're thinking of like maybe vagrants. They're not seeing them. You're not seeing them there. I need you to make me a lore check.
Get the bad roll out now.
That's right.
Ooh, that's a pretty good roll right there.
So
Ooh.
plus
good
7.
+7. All right. You go to Audubon Park. You're kind of walking around, and something feels off to you. That there's something about it's like the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up. You just feel really uncomfortable. You notice yourself looking around more often. You hear a weird noise off behind you. You turn around really quickly to see what it is. Something's got you kind of keyed up in a way that you're not used to.
Okay. I'm going to take a deep breath.
Mhm.
I'm going to remember how I worked with the brooch
Mhm.
that she had that was inciting fear. To
This
fight the fear so I could...
This feels very much along the same lines as if someone were trying to cause you to be afraid. This feels a lot like the brooch.
Great. I found him all by myself.
Well, it's
What the
daytime.
heck? Oh, good.
Yeah, it's daytime.
All right. So, okay, but
Don't you know you never split the party?
That's right.
well, I'm not. I'm being the warden. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so, okay.
You
So,
got your deputies.
they sleep too late. You guys don't get up till like, what? 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
I've been working the whole time in my warehouse since like 8 in the
Early
morning.
bird. Wait.
The Saints are playing. My goodness.
I don't have your phone numbers.
And whose
I don't
fault
have
is
a
that?
phone.
Oh, you don't?
Well, I have a flip phone, maybe. I never use it. I can't find it. Anyway,
Better get some pigeons.
so okay, again, I'm just gonna
That'd be cool.
breathe, tell myself, what this is, and then I'm going to be actively kind of look.
Well,
to
you
see
kind
where
of
it's
walk
coming
underneath.
from.
Well, there's a big oak tree that you're kind of walking towards. And the reason you're walking towards it is it's got these bells and chimes in it that you can hear kind of ringing as the wind kind of blows through them. They're just kind of softly, and they actually are kind of peaceful to you, and it just seems like maybe this is kind of like a calm area to go to, and so you're just kind of gradually drifting that direction, and you get to the oak tree, and you're kind of looking around, and behind you, you hear someone say, "You feel it too."
Okay.
You just spin around.
Yeah.
Nice looking
My
guy.
hand is on the inside of my jacket.
Right.
On the hilt of my sword.
Right. Well, nice looking
Oh,
guy.
I forgot it's my umbrella.
Right.
My hand's on my umbrella.
Yeah, nice looking guy. He's kind of thin, tall, maybe 6'2". He's got kind of reddish brown hair, angular features. He's wearing a long trench coat that hits right around his knees, and all of his colors are kind of these deep, rich greens or blacks. And he looks at you and he says, "You do feel it, don't you?
Yes.
There's something wrong with the ley lines here." It's an interesting conversation opener. Okay.
What do you know about the ley lines here?
Well, I know that there's one that runs underneath the park. There's lots of them in this city. Remember
But I would know about the ley lines
you
as
would.
well. Okay.
Most of the time the ley
I
lines
mean, I probably have the ley line map in my house.
You probably do. Remember, most of the time ley lines ran underneath roads. That's why they built the roads there.
Right.
You know that there's a lot of ley lines around inside New Orleans and things like that. And he looks at you and says, "Yeah, there's something wrong with the ley lines here. It's causing problems."
Are you from here?
And when you say that, he kind of smirks and gives this weird look, and he says, "Originally?"
Okay. So, when did you first notice that the ley lines were strange?
He looks at you and he says, "Well, I think I've given plenty of information to you. Who are you?"
I'm Dela. Nice to meet you.
He says, "Pleased to meet you too." And he puts his hand out like he wants to shake your hand. Are you going to shake his hand?
Sure, I think we know the jig is up.
He takes your hand and kisses it, which is very archaic. And then he looks at you and he says, yeah, that makes you kind of go, "What?" And he says, "Dela, so what brings you to Audubon Park?"
I am investigating the Devilman.
He chuckles and he says, "The Devilman steers clear of this place."
And singing cats.
I need a I need a rapport check. Okay.
This guy's like, how random can this chick be? Oh, the Devilman.
plus one.
Good roll.
Singing cats.
I feel like that's a
Do
good
you have
name for
anything
a
you want
pub.
to try and tag to give yourself a +2 or something?
Absolutely. Some kind of comedy metal band.
Oh, here it is.
Like Tenacious D.
Yes. Oh, so terrible.
Listen to everyone.
Ooh, yeah, that's definitely worth it. Yeah. Okay, so give me your little thing. Okay.
Have you
Oh, sorry.
All right, that's fine.
and singing cats?
He looks at you and he kind of cocks an eyebrow and he stares. You start to go in. He stares into your eyes and you're thinking, "Uh-oh, soul gaze," and no, nothing happens. And so he looks at you and he says, You should probably give the cats wide berth.
I am happy to give the cats wide berth. Would the cats be why Devilman isn't appearing here?
No, the Devilman avoids this place because he knows better. It's the same reason he avoids Jackson Square, because he knows better.
Okay.
This place is where my friends and I like to call home. And the cats like Jackson Square. And the Devilman knows better than to be around us.
I appreciate the information.
Oh, information. Is that what you thought this was? No, this is a business deal.
Oh, really?
Nothing comes for free. You should know better than that.
Well, yes, I know nothing comes for free, but I offered you information as well.
Nothing I didn't already know. He says, here's the deal.
Should have said.
He says, here's the deal. The ley lines are tainting the park. I need you to make it stop. My people and I are going to be affected by this taint soon if it doesn't go away.
Sounds awful.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And I don't mind helping. But how are you going to support me
I
in
just,
this endeavor?
he said, I just did.
Well, I'll do my best with what little you've given me.
Well, and if you need anything, you know where I am. And that's when he turns around and he walks towards the oak tree and then walks into it
I'm not
and
surprised.
disappears. Yeah.
Did you get his name?
Huh?
Did you get his name?
No.
No.
I don't need his name.
Oh, okay.
I figure if I show up here again, he'll come find me.
Yeah.
She's like,
She's gonna
why do I
walk-
need his name? I know where he lives.
He lives in the
It was in
tree.
that tree.
His name's Keebler.
That's right.
Legendary cookies of Key Blah.
That's right.
All right. Well, that finishes my investigation. I'm going to hop on my handy dandy bike. I'm going to head back to Jackson Square, have a
Muriel's?
beer
Okay.
before I meet up with these guys. Muriel.
All right. You head towards Muriel's. Muriel's.
Eustace Banks.
Stupid dog. Made me look bad.
Muriel's is at the corner. Looks like this. Okay. There's the picture of Muriel's.
Nice.
All right.
Looks like Jody.
Yeah, there's Jody
Yeah.
too. Yeah, well, there's Muriel's. Okay. That's Jackson Square. Hold on.
That's a cool place.
That's Muriel's.
Oh, that is Muriel's?
Yeah, that's Muriel's.
Wow.
You wind up down here in the courtyard bar, Jody. Looks like that. Okay.
Did
Courtyard
you
bar.
show him the red part upstairs?
Yeah, yeah, in a minute. You wind up in the courtyard bar, go over to get a beer. Bartender, charges you, $6 for a beer because it's French Quarter. And you sit down to wait for everybody to get there. You're about 30 minutes early. It's about probably 5 o'clock. Saints game finishes. Saints win. Yeah, so they win. It's a good year. You finished probably watching the Saints game as well. It's about 5 o'clock. You're going to need to head down to Muriel's pretty quickly. So, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I already knew that he was fairy or never or something other than this.
Oh, is he?
Well, not fairy person. You know what I'm saying? I knew that he was not mundane.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. Never know. All right, so
well,
you guys...
I'm positive that I'm positive that I'm sure. Now, am I right? I don't know.
He was
He ain't right.
it was just a projection.
Yeah.
It was actually a good trick. All right, so you guys head towards Muriel's?
Yep.
All right, and I assume you guys head towards Muriel's as well. All right.
Sorry, you were saying his projection. The first thing I thought was, he's the Lorax. He speaks for the trees.
That's right. That's great. So you head to Muriel's.
Yes.
Jody, you've been there for 30 minutes. You've had a couple beers. Probably had some beer nuts or something like that that's on the bar. The rest of you walk in. Muriel's, the front of Muriel's, Let's see. Looks kind of, well, here we go. This is the actual dining area. So you go into the dining area of Muriel's, and they ask you if you would like to eat or if you're planning to go just sit in the bar.
This is your shindig, so.
Yeah, we're supposed to be meeting a friend. I don't know if she's arrived yet. Tall, dark, mysterious, definitely.
Oh, she's in the
Came
bar.
out- okay.
Yeah. Gray cloak.
Yeah.
Carries an umbrella. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna
Walked
say, like,
in on a cool breeze.
we walk in there,
Yeah.
there's multiple tall, dark, mysterious figures at the bar.
There's
Like,
quite a few. Yeah, there's quite a few. That's for sure.
It's the Noir Fest.
That's right. So yeah, you head towards the bar, the courtyard bar. You guys come in probably maybe 5 minutes behind them. Same deal into the courtyard bar. Now there's places to eat in the courtyard bar as well. One of the waiters comes over to you and says, "I can get a table for you ready if you'd like. It'll take about 30 minutes." The place is pretty busy.
Are we there as well?
Yes, you are. Yeah, you came in like 5 minutes behind them. Place is pretty busy. There's a good many people around. It's started to fill up, especially since the Saints game is over. And 30 minutes goes by. Everybody having drinks?
Water with lemon.
Okay, water with lemon. Okay.
Having food.
Food. Oh, in a minute. They're clearing a table for you.
Okay.
Drink, yeah.
Yeah, drinks.
Celebratory Bud Light.
That's right. All right.
I think sweet tea.
Okay, sweet tea.
I'm gonna get a water.
Okay. You perch at the bar for maybe probably 20, 25 minutes, and then the waiter comes over and says your area's ready and takes you down this kind of long hallway towards what they call the wine room.
Ooh.
Now, you don't go into the wine room because it's locked up because there's lots of wine in there, but there's a bunch of little tables out in front of it. It's a little darker, a little more secluded, a little more intimate. And so he says, "I assume this table is okay?"
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. You seat yourselves, he hands out a bunch of menus, lots of really interesting stuff on there. Really, really good stuff. The typical New Orleans fare, Cajun cooking. There's also steaks. There's some other things, fresh, seafood and things along those lines. It's a little pricey, but you're thinking, that all sounds pretty yummy. So there you go.
Look
Ooh.
We might
past
be dead tomorrow.
all of the
I
expensive
get the
stuff
table.
and just
You
try
get the
to
table?
look
Say,
for.
Meals on me.
No, that's right. You got pretty good resources, don't you?
Hey,
Yeah. All right.
And I'll roll
hear
for it
that.
too.
No, you don't have to roll for it. What's your resources?
My resources is good +3.
So that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not that expensive. I mean, you're probably going to wind up dropping $300 tops. That includes drinks for 5 people, which ain't bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I stopped
And it's
perusing
steaks.
for like the cheap chicken tenders that I was looking for, and I go back to like
yeah.
Yeah.
Put a hand on her shoulder. Here's your payment.
right,
Yeah,
right.
And they're just like,
steaks and drinks for 5 for 300 ain't bad.
That
So
ain't
yeah,
bad
not
at
in New
all.
Orleans.
like
That's
she's like
right.
looking at like kids menu, like it's like, oh, I got this, guys. And it's just like cordon bleu. Where are we?
You can order a bottle of wine for the table if you want. Sure.
do
So
that.
yeah, you all sit down, order the various things that you're going to have: steaks, seafood, whatever, surf and turf, whatever you're interested in. And the food comes out. It is amazing. Really, really good. Everything is cooked to perfection. The wine is good. Probably takes you about an hour and a half, which makes it about 7 o'clock when you finish eating and decide to probably. You better figure out a plan before you guys leave. So yeah.
So, we know Jackson Square is no go, right?
What all do we know about this thing?
Oh, okay. Well,
Well,
you say you're in, I'll say mine.
that's all I really know is that Sister Isolda
Mhm.
told me that the Jackson Square is occupied by the cats and to give it a little room to breathe. Other than that, what's our
So I
The net that
spent
we-
the afternoon studying all the homeless that had died and everybody that died and if there was a pattern. I didn't really see a pattern other than nothing happened in Jackson Square or Audubon Park. Those seem to be safe zones. So I went to Audubon Park and from what I would deem, I believe is a credible source. Seemed very credible. That Audubon Park is safe, but
having a Monty Python moment. Was it watery tarts lying around in ponds throwing swords at people? Yeah, credible source. Why not? Yeah. Guys who walk into trees.
For me, that's credible. For everybody else, that may not be credible. Anyway, but there's something else. There's something else that's happening in Audubon Park that I'll have to take a look at later. But anyway, so it has nothing to do with the Devilman.
I haven't heard anything about badges yet.
Yeah. Never fear.
The
Never
way you,
fear.
the way
So,
you said it, though, and it's now playing through my head now. It fits so well.
but I do have where the people have died, so we can like go to those areas first, or wherever her person, the guy that she was talking to, was talking about the Devilman to bring them out. And here, Bunk and Volt are your badges.
Now
they have
we're
these,
talking.
So they're these gold, they're these silver badges that have like gold letters outlined in black. Hence my paint pens and like
Yeah, no,
Sharpies.
gotcha.
And in the middle of it says DCC.
What does DCC stand for?
I don't know.
Like, well, if you were a deputy for real, you'd know.
Well,
I
we're
wrote
getting
it
to
in
that.
Got nothing, huh?
Did you not write it down?
No, I see DCC. That's it.
So that's for me to know and for you to find out.
And also me to find out.
Well, there you go. Stands for something. I'll tell you later. Right?
Deputy Cop Crusader.
Yeah.
It was like Della's. I don't know.
Dela's Cop Crusaders, sure.
It was- I thought
Your
decent.
savings, cousins.
Della's crazy cousin.
Let's shoot.
There we go.
I start shooting the ceiling.
Don't do
We'll
that. They
just
don't like that in
change
your
what
house.
it means
It's
like
old
every
house.
other day.
All right.
I'll let you know in a minute.
Yeah.
What kind of spin can you put on that there? Like
Yeah.
Della's cooperative constables?
Oh, we're gonna have mustaches.
I'll
Not
be
the
your
one glass.
Huckleberry.
The Devilman catching crew.
Yeah. There you go.
Man, catching crew.
I like that. That's even better. Oh my goodness.
Now we can have a shirt that says DCC and it's just a bunch of marked out names.
That's it right there.
No,
All right.
I'm gonna put DPS. Your DPS.
Okay.
Damage per second.
Okay.
Man, I kind of like DCC.
I don't know.
Della's Protection Squad.
Yeah.
Oh, the C was better. The CC's better.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think that was the best part.
I think that was the best part. Yeah.
DHS.
like-
Della's Human Shields. There you
No,
go.
no, they're supposed to be.
Maybe not. Yeah. Alrighty.
I'll let you know when I
Sorry.
remember.
Della's humanoid shields.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
That'll-
Gotta be inclusive.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. You guys have, by the way, have left the table, headed upstairs to the seance room, which is the cool red room that you saw. A lot of people kind of hanging around in there, but there's definitely little places where you can go where you can hang out, and it's got cool seance-y looking stuff. And yeah. Anyway, so you wind up hanging out in there. You're standing around drinking your sweet tea or your water or your beers and stuff. Yes.
Della's Criminal Collectors.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
So we're no longer DPS?
No.
No,
Okay,
not
good.
unless you want to be.
No,
You wanna
I
be
like
DPS?
DCC.
Yeah.
and-
DCC, that was the original one.
Yeah.
All right. So
Mhm.
you sit on the different various couches in the seance room. It's about 7:00. What are you going to? What's the plan?
So we
So how
have
do we
a
tackle this thing?
we have a lure that was made for us. Works real well. So if he's supposed to be out and about bumping around in the night on the full moon, then I think, we just pick an opportune spot and try to get him to come to us rather than trying to cast a wide net.
And then what?
Well,
Did we do anything about this thing besides the Devilman?
We have a dragon. At that point, the dragon
The
just killed him.
Draven just killed him?
Yeah,
Boom.
that's
Sounds
what
like
I
a plan to
think.
me. I'm going to sit back with beer.
Watch rewind the Saints game and watch it again. Yeah, sure, right, yeah. High points, right? Okay, so
Okay.
you remember from your books when you researched it that the Devilman is a manifestation of fear. that it feeds on the fear of its victims, and that only people who are not afraid of it can hurt it.
Perfect job for fun.
Ooh.
Okay, so I have a plan. I have a secondary plan. Let's get the brooch and let Bunk and Volt try it on. Full disclosure, it makes you very scared. But if you guys can resist it, that gives us two more people that.
Why do we
Can't
all
be
need
feared.
to wear this?
Oh, I'm familiar with that brooch.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean just to practice
only
pushing
activate it
away
when it's on
fear,
somebody?
so you can push away fear, so we can kill it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So it makes you really, really afraid.
Okay.
In fact, like when I went to the park this afternoon, I felt that same fear, but I used that skill I got working with the brooch to like push it away so I could, and that's how I got my information. So what I'm saying is, maybe if you guys do that as well, you can push that fear. We can find out ahead of time.
I'll try it.
Okay.
Sure.
Do we know someone has to be wearing the brooch in order for it to activate?
It only activated for me when I was wearing it. And you accidentally activated it wearing it.
If you remember, she looked at the brooch with her wizard sight, and it probably pulsed out maybe 20, 30 feet until she put it on. And then when she put it on, she realized it was covering the whole neighborhood. And so, yeah. Somebody has to wear it to kind of feed it energy. That's what it activates off of, is someone's energy.
Do you think we just round robin everybody, try it on until we see who's our best bet of withstanding it?
We can.
Or
Well, probably
We just-
the magic user is going to be the best bet, I would think.
yeah, I was
Metagaming,
useless.
I don't have a high conviction, so I'm not going to be the one wearing the brooch. I'll tell you that.
Discipline is what you want.
I was gonna
Discipline?
say I have
Yeah.
super high conviction, and I was turned into a puzzle.
My discipline is lower than my conviction, so I'll tell you that.
All right, Bunk, it's you.
It's me. Yeah.
Well, practitioners need high discipline. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. All right. So you want to try it on?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm a
And you guys are
manly
still
fighter.
upstairs in Muriel's. You're still in the seance room.
this
so
is a safe
is already
place. Bunk.
creepy.
How's your arm?
right. You unwrap the brooch from the layers of cloth that you got it in, probably your little messenger bag. Hand it to Bunk. Bunk, you pin it. It's cold. Remember, we talked about that. It's very, very cold. I need you to make a discipline check.
Even +5.
Okay.
Nice.
When you put this thing on, you feel immediately, those fears that you thought you had kind of kept buried. The fears of having a terrible trombone session when you're playing. The fears of losing everybody that you care about. The fears of being evicted out of your little, musical commune. And so you immediately realize what's up. You're under attack because you felt these before. You had mental attacks before. People who've tried to attack you before mentally, and so you immediately start erecting the walls of, against it. You start building, visualizing building a wall, and that these fears just kind of wash against them and wash off. And you're very successful at it. You actually notice that the fear starts to simmer down and it hits the walls, and as long as you maintain your concentration on this wall against it, it's almost like ocean water that hits it and then it just rolls back. And so you're definitely able to handle it. Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, he's good with it.
Great, good, cool, nice. Just better around
Darren,
me, I guess.
do you want to try it?
No, he's still wearing it.
Do you want to try?
I mean, as close as
Sorry.
we are
I
to
have
go
enough personal
time.
fear. I'm fine.
As close as we are to go time, if he's handling it, maybe we just roll out.
Just do it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
So you keep the brooch on. You're having to kind of concentrate on maintaining. You could realize that the fear, if you didn't concentrate, would eventually erode your walls and would get to you. But you had it kind of in the back of your mind. As you notice that the wall is taking
Just
wear
think
and
about
tear.
the breeze.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly right. You put another block in place, and
Yeah.
so it's very much that you can feel, as long as you kind of in the back of your mind concentrate on keeping this wall built up, you're going to be fine.
Sorry, I just thought about the finance. They're like, yeah, you think about Drew Brees, put another block in place.
Yeah.
You're good, man. It's like,
yeah.
See what you did there. That's good. That's good.
So full moon tonight.
Yeah.
What time is it that we're leaving now?
It's about 8 o'clock. Well, 7. Let's see. It was 7 o'clock. It's probably around 7:15. Yeah.
Okay.
You settle up your tabs. Yeah.
But since it's a full moon, it's going to be brighter than normal outside.
Right.
And it's not cloudy or anything.
No, now it's cold. It is November, but even so, November in New Orleans is generally not terribly chilly.
Okay.
You want long pants. You maybe want a coat, but yeah.
There's
But
probably decent amounts of people out on the street.
Sunday night. Remember, Sunday night is probably the lightest night in New Orleans, besides maybe Monday morning. Most everybody's going home. If they've spent the weekend in New Orleans, they're heading home. So it's 7, 8 o'clock. People are probably getting ready to get to their cars and heading out. It's actually, there's people about, but not as many as you would normally see.
One of the fire escapes and follow the party from up top on the roof.
You got stealth, you mean?
Yeah, sleuth stealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give me a stealth roll then, please.
Well, so I'm going to climb up normally.
Right.
And when I get up there, then I change into the half dragon, half
Gotcha.
human, then stealth.
Gotcha.
Because that's
Okay.
my stats rearranged.
Right. Gotcha.
Man, cool. That's going to be a re-roll or something.
Need more space here.
What aspect can you tag to reroll?
I don't know. We may not be re-rolling it. No, I'm just going to have bad stealth then. I'm just a dragon boy with wings and claws running along the rooftops.
What'd you get for stealth?
0 total.
Okay.
Because I rolled really well.
I also need an let's see.
Oh, I'll do some athletics now.
Yeah, give me an athletics. So you're going to climb up there. It's a big thing. How's that?
5 total.
Okay. So you are able to find some of these wrought iron, banisters and stuff like that you can kind of climb up and get to the top of the old apartments that are around Jackson Square. Everybody, you notice that the dragon heads out a little bit before you. You see him head across the street, climb up these wrought iron pillars and banisters and head to the rooftops. You're not really sure what the intention is here, but he seems to have gone up onto the rooftops. And the rest of you have just come out into the little alleyway that's right by Muriel's. It runs by by the St. Louis Cathedral, but the building next door to it. I can't remember what that's called. I think it's what they call. I think it's Pirates Alley is actually the road that you're on. It is kind of narrow, but it's in the French Quarter. There's a lot of people down in here. You're looking around it, and you're kind of like, man, the Devilman's not going to come out in this street. There's probably too many people. You're again continuously rebuilding that wall to make sure that the fear doesn't get to you. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
Where did he direct you?
Direct me.
The first time. The guy said that where did he see him most often?
The homeless guy. Just around. There's no real general place anybody has nailed down. It's just these kind of secluded
We
areas.
should,
So I think we
know the area. So some secluded,
we
the
just
abandoned street or something.
get somewhere where they would feel comfortable attacking.
Yeah.
Kind of flank a little bit and I'll just sort of start grabbing on everybody's shoulders and being pretending to be drunk and kind of.
You need a performance check.
Yeah.
Should we be paired off?
Just seem
like a group of 2, group of 3,
Trying to
within
see-
reach of each other, sort of ish, but not.
yeah. Maybe we should couple up. He's on the rooftop,
He's
so
on the roof.
I'll go with
Yeah,
Darwin if you want to stick with him.
Yeah.
I'll
Or
do
should we-
alertness
well, he's a
checks to
practitioner, too.
scan the area for Devilman looking type people.
Cool. Make me a roll real quick if you wouldn't mind.
Doing a little Overwatch.
I'm just going to try to seem what's the word? Vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be vulnerable or do you want me to be
Alright,
I'm
vulnerable?
building walls.
I can start rolling at this
I'm
point.
building-
huh?
He's got the
I'm
rope
acting. I'm
Yeah,
acting.
he's like, I cannot.
That don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I don't have
Where'd it go?
acting.
Ellen, do you see
I have
it?
empathy,
Well, it's right over there by your foot.
presence.
foot?
as of right
Hers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want, should I roll with empathy or presence?
What are you doing?
Hey,
What are you doing, Jody?
Came out better for real one.
I'm pretending like I'm
So that's performance.
kind of.
Is this
I don't have
present?
performance.
Then you have it at 0.
or- Okay.
So you got
Huh?
a 1.
I got a
What is it?
1.
Performance? Is that an actual skill?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
sure.
have. I got a 2.
Did I use both my things or did one disappear?
One disappeared.
The night of not great rolls.
Okay, so you're looking around. You haven't seen.
I got a
anything-
5 alertness.
Yeah, you haven't seen anything pop up yet. You're staggering along together, trying to appear to be vulnerable.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
not
really,
very
you know, you
vulnerable.
can feel actually the cold kind of rolling off of him in waves. So you know he's got this thing going.
Get low.
You guys are.
Low.
She's acting drunk. You're kind of looking at her, going, "What are you doing?"
I just
And
realized what you're saying.
He's like walking 4 feet
I
of
look here
deadline.
reading things and get
Yeah.
low, get low, get low.
it's a pretty credible drunk
That's
act.
good.
So yeah, about 15 minutes. Do you guys split up into different groups, or maybe like one road over from each other, or what are we?
No, I was thinking like 5 feet from each other.
Yeah,
got
opposite
it.
sides
Yeah,
of the street.
Just not
Yeah.
seeming like a big threatening group, more like just people in proximity.
You're able to find what looks like an alley that kind of goes behind some of the buildings.
Oh wait,
it
I'm
looks-
gonna throw up.
Bleh. No way she goes.
I'm just leaning against
Just
the wall, keeping.
Sorry, I was just like, not like a big threatening group, more like a spread out
Threatening group.
group of vulnerable individuals.
Threatening. Not threatening. Threatening.
Everybody going, it's not a trap. It's not a trap.
Hold my hair, Darwin. Oh.
She's really selling this. Yeah. You're not sure. Can I pair up with the trombone player?
I mean, at that point, it might just look like we're on a stroll. But
Yeah. All right. About 30 minutes goes by. An hour goes by. Still no Devilman. You're sure you would have seen him. It's about 8:30, maybe close to 9 o'clock. Still no Devilman.
Oh, it's probably still too early.
That's
That's what I'm thinking.
thinking,
Yeah.
too.
Character.
Still staggering around, and then wandering around. Yeah. You've hit some pretty dark alleys where, if somebody was going to come after you. You've seen some sketchy looking characters who are definitely, in those alleys too.
Do I remember anybody saying whether or not there was like a witching hour kind of thing? Is it like midnight when these
Not that you
attacks
remember.
happen?
Yeah.
So while I'm like going
Sure.
from rooftop to rooftop following,
Mhm.
I do, if I don't have to use my wings to fly, I
Yeah.
want to keep them kind of close and tucked
Yeah.
so that if somebody looks up, they don't see that's some weird thing with wings.
Batman.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly. So
Oh.
I want it to be, I know I didn't roll great on stealth, but if
Right.
they do see me, it's just some dude doing parkour or something,
Right.
you know what I mean?
For the most part,
How
you're
much I
able
can.
to keep your wings, kind of down and just, the buildings there, unless you have to cross a really wide street, you're able to pretty much run along the rooftops. And they're staying to kind of the smaller alleys where if you have to jump across, you maybe have to throw them out a little bit, but it's just them in the alley below, so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
But yeah, you're able to definitely keep your wings kind of curled in where nobody would really
Yeah.
see them.
Well, let's just keep going down the road and maybe turn down one of the dark alleys.
Okay.
Or you guys can turn down the dark alley. We'll keep an ear out. Since you're selling it
To
and
the
I'm
dark
not.
10 o'clock rolls around,
Just
10:30.
ate my entire bag of reasons.
11 o'clock, still no Devilman.
This is no good.
Are we in the right place?
That's the French
You know
Quarter,
what?
Garden District. Wow.
I'm starting to think maybe we should look for people who are crying.
That's not fear, that's sadness.
Do we need more fear than what he's generating?
Well, as far as you can tell, he's generating a good bit. I mean, that brooch is just throwing off waves.
Let's-
Maybe we're just in the wrong part
Let's
of
go
town.
closer to
Yeah.
let's go closer to where the homeless live.
All right, we'll go into those areas.
Yeah,
of
go to a
town.
place where there's a lot of despair and fear or something, I guess.
All right, so you head towards
Despair is the same.
Canal Street and up towards I-10, which is where the tent cities are and things like that.
My neighborhood.
That's right. You get to I-10, see the tent city. You see several of the homeless that you know. You don't see Albert, but not Albert, the other guy. No, Albert. That was right. But you kind of walk up underneath. Once you cross north of I-10, it's where a lot of the areas gets pretty bad. Even now, 10 years later, a lot of the buildings have not been rebuilt. And so it's pretty bad. A lot of closed up storefronts, they're boarded up. A lot of houses that have been really pretty messed up. And again, there's definitely a feeling of decay and despair and just sadness.
Black mold asbestos.
You continue walking north. You notice that they picked up a tail. Okay, it is not that. Okay, it's not a 7-foot tall or 9-foot tall gargantuan guy with horns and a staff. You notice that there's a group of about 2 people of them. Two people following behind them. They're maintaining a pretty far distance. but they are definitely following your group.
What do they look like exactly?
They're wearing dark clothing.
They look like street thugs, maybe looking to roll some drunk people or something.
Give me an investigation roll.
You sure you don't want to learn this?
No.
This
This is surveillance and examination, so that's where we
You
go.
can do it.
So not might.
Right.
Do it.
Let's use guns. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Lightning breath.
Yeah.
So that's a -1 total because my investigation is non-existent.
Okay. So you're not sure. It's hard to tell. It's
I
dark.
just know that they're tailing.
Yeah, you do, but you can definitely tell that they are following your group.
So
Now they're not closing with them; they're staying
Yeah.
far away.
the area that we're at, is it less? So less people, more open,
A lot less people.
darker.
Darker too.
Yeah, like this.
Definitely the street lights have not been replaced here. The only people who are out on the street are probably people who live in this area of the French Quarter. The tourists don't go here. This is the area that if you want to get mugged, you would go to, and it's a bad area. Yeah.
I'm going to not do anything yet, but if I see them starting to pick up pace and encroaching upon the group, then I'm jumping in.
Again, they are just kind of following
Just tailing.
along behind. They're not really closing.
I'll let them
with
tail for
anybody.
now. They might be useful later.
You never know. Again, 11 o'clock rolls around. No Devilman. You're not sure what the deal is. The brooch is working. I mean, you can tell, but yeah. I need everybody to make an alertness check.
Me as well.
No, you're good. We got yours already.
Oh my god.
You were putting on such a good performance.
Yes,
Negative
you're busy
1.
performing.
Even.
I have +2.
Okay.
Dead 0.
-1.
Okay. You have +2. Okay.
We really are easy pickings.
Your
I'm
performance
really
is so good.
selling this
I know.
performance.
Method acting.
Again, no sign of the Devilman. You do see a lot of very sketchy characters out on the street. A lot of them are eyeing you with probably what would be considered ill intent. They're thinking, how hard would it be to knock these people over and maybe take their wallets? But none of them make a move. You're not exactly sure why. They all they will watch you for a little while and then, leave you be. You're not really sure what the deal is here.
Okay, so
Just thinking how a preacher brought me out here to get mugged.
I think at this point, after
Have
all
faith
the
in
selling, that maybe we should
Have
we
faith
should
you don't
just
get
stop
mugged.
selling it.
Okay, you're going to stop selling it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
All right.
stop attempting to sell it. Not that
Okay,
I've sold
yeah,
it at all.
right.
I'm
Are
the
you
one
gonna-
that thinks that I've been selling it.
Yeah, what are you going to
Yeah.
do, Miranda? Same thing?
Oh yeah, I feel like I probably after the first couple of hours of that not working, I probably
Yeah.
started dialing it back.
All right. You've gotten about 3 blocks north of I-10. Again, it's getting into a really sketchy area of the town. You're not really sure you want to go much further north, mainly because it is a pretty rough area. Murders are up. Home invasions are up in New Orleans at this point. And, somebody could just walk up and shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of thinking it might be time to turn around.
Yeah.
Maybe this was a bust.
So,
Well, he doesn't come every night.
That's true.
are the two guys still tailing?
On the phone?
Lots of people. I want to fly
Probably.
in, snatch a dude, and just scare the shit out of him near the brooch.
Okay, you mean the guys that's following them? All right, you fly. You're gonna.
I want to generate. I'm generating the fear now.
Okay, so you fly.
I just want to dive down, grab them by, and just
Okay.
Batman up on a rooftop, dangling them over cars.
You're-
Where is she?
You're not gonna be able.
Where's the Devilman?
You're not gonna be able to grab them unless you tag an aspect. So what you'll have to do is first of all do a maneuver
Okay.
so that you can surprise them. Okay. So make a. I'm gonna say probably maneuver using.
I've got might, endurance, athletics, fists.
Let's use stealth because you're wanting to
Stealth.
catch them unawares.
Okay.
So you're going to try and do a maneuver. Okay. Their perception is what you're rolling against.
There we go. Okay, so I got a 3 total.
Okay. You begin swooping in towards them, kind of gliding and really, really quiet. You get maybe 10 feet from them, and one of the guys turns dead around and looks at you, and you notice this pale skin, okay? And you notice it's a woman, dark black hair, and she looks up at you, and as you kind of swoop in closer, she moves incredibly fast out of your way, and she slaps you to the side like that. Now, you get a defensive roll, so...
She tries to slap me to the side.
Okay.
So defense is fists?
Athletics.
Okay. They're the same.
Yeah.
I don't roll poop. So 4 total.
Okay. As she swings around and she kind of, it's an open-handed slap just to kind of change your trajectory. You realize she's a bit stronger than you realize. She looks kind of thin and frail. She's got a baseball cap on, and when she spins around, she knocks the cap off and hits you away from her friend, basically. And you see that she's got white skin, long black hair. She's wearing what looks like a long black coat, and her friend realizes that you're coming in, immediately drops into a crouch and pulls out this long kukri knife from somewhere. And the one who slapped you actually takes a couple steps back away from you and pulls out this looks like a Roman gladius, okay, from somewhere. And they both drop into very obviously combat trained stances.
Can I make a lore check real quick? See what they are?
Sure. Let's try.
Do we at this point hear, dragons
Okay.
swooping
I don't
in
know
there?
shit.
What you got?
Negative one.
1.
No.
I got a 0.
Yeah, you're not sure. You're not sure.
Okay. So at that point, I'm like, why are you following them?
Oh.
And I'm.
Okay, well, you say that, and they keep their weapons out, but they don't attack. But the woman whose baseball cap has come off, she kind of keeps her eye on you, reaches down, grabs the cap, puts it back on her head. Of course, now her hair's all falling out, but, and she looks at you and she says, oh, the taste that they were giving off was just absolutely delectable. Who wouldn't want to follow that smorgasbord?
I'm gonna eye them up and down, see that they're obviously not a Devilman.
No, they're not.
And I'm gonna lower my stance and be like, you're not near the threats that would warrant our attention. Get out of here before we kill you.
That's an intimidation roll.
Bet.
Okay. Yeah.
So presence.
Yeah.
What is that?
Presence would...
I know it's a passive.
It's more like
thing.
command, reputation, social fortitude. So if you were going to try and command someone to get out of go away, you do presence.
Jesus
Wow.
wept. Don't matter. I'm using the fate. We're doing it.
Wait. No. So what aspect are you tagging?
Yeah, well, I've got one for sure because I'm a dragon.
I'm a dragon.
I'm a dragon. I'm spooky.
Tag that aspect just alone. I'm a dragon.
Yeah, I'm a dragon.
Well, you remember your high aspect is that you're the dragon.
Yeah, first dragonborn of Farabax.
So you could tag that. That's very possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that one just to
Okay.
change it from the other one.
All right. So you're gonna re-roll, or are you gonna add +2 to it?
Reroll. That was awesome. The only good thing I've rolled tonight, I think, has been alertness. All right. Well, that's all right. Intimidation 1. Jeez.
Okay. You say you're not nearly the threat that we would be looking
Never
for.
thought I'd say this, but I'm missing D20s.
Okay. I need you to make a discipline check.
Okay.
He inherited terrible for me.
Well, there you go. 2.
Okay. You say that, and it's like something punches you in the chest, and your heart starts to go dum 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 dum. And she looks at you and she says, "Are you sure about that?" And you're a little nervous around her. You're not scared of anything. But you're a little nervous of her, and then she makes you a little scared.
Can I use rapport to mask that?
That's probably...
Or no, discipline is what you mask it with. That's right.
Right. You're not scared, but you definitely don't want to go toe to toe with this girl. Well, of course she's gonna. Yeah. Well, you dropped your fighting stance, so you're not, aggressive anymore. And you notice that she's taken the gladius and she's slid it up underneath her coat. Her friend still has the kukri out, but they're not closing with you. And so finally the friend looks at the girl and in what's very obviously a woman's voice says, well, this one might be fun to feast upon, but not tonight. And so
I don't even acknowledge her, and I still look at the baseball cap girl, and I say, "Do you know the Devilman?"
Do you know the Devilman? The Devilman. Sorry.
Who lives on Dreary Yale Street? Yeah, in the Dreary Place. Yeah. All right. She looks at you and says, "The urban legend."
From what I hear, more than a legend.
Haven't met him personally.
Okay.
She says, well, tell your friends that they need to be more careful where they go. You might pick up all kinds of random things that would like to eat them. And she smiles, and you notice that her teeth are gleamingly white. But again, you know, every time you look at her, your heart just kind of races because you're a little, just maybe a tiny bit scared of her. Yeah.
I'll respond, just like Jesus, it'll be their last supper. I'm gonna walk away.
All right. You notice that they keep their eye on you until you kind of, are you walking
Actually,
towards
I
them?
fly away.
Okay. All
They
right.
ain't getting me.
And so you hear the one of them say, "Ooh, it doesn't just glide; it flies." That definitely bears looking into. So they put their knives away and head, I guess, away from the group. Actually, they look like they're heading back towards the French Corner or something like that. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah. All right. So you're gonna meet back up.
I guess I'll fly back down and change back to human,
Yeah. Midnight rolls around. You're out.
but not out in the open.
Right. Midnight rolls around. You've been doing this for about 4 hours. You're kind of tired.
Yeah, it's not working.
You're thinking that maybe tonight was a bust. You're not sure what the deal is.
Well,
Too bad Pokemon Go's not out. We could have caught so many Pokemon.
Right? Right. There's so
I
many
feel like this
Pokestops.
was a very productive evening. I don't know about you guys. I feel like we all bonded and spent some good quality time together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did meet some pointy-fanged freaks that were stalking y'all.
That's a lore check for anybody who's magically active. Yeah. Oh, and you can do it too.
I'll bet.
I don't know anything.
That's impressive.
That's a crit
Is that a
fail.
crit?
That's a crit
I've been
fail.
drinking the whole time.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
There was no performance. It was all real.
He was trying to
Right.
maintain not
Maintain
being
your
afraid the
fear,
whole
right.
time. That's not nothing.
Yeah, you gonna
I
take
got
the brooch
5.
off, by the way, now?
Yeah, take the brooch
yeah,
off,
okay.
'cause
You take it off, wrap it back up, give it to her.
Hot chocolate.
You've heard, you know about vampires, okay? You know that there's 3 types of vampires. There's black court, white court, red court. Black court smells icky and dead. That's not what he was talking about. Red court is really beautiful, but they wear this skin mask, and then they have these horrible creatures underneath the skin. Could have been that. Since they were talking about, they could also be white court vampires, which look very human. So it's probably either red or white court vampires that he ran into. Yeah. And this is New Orleans, so, vampires are kind of a thing for New Orleans. So, yeah.
I got a 5 also.
Oh, you got a 5 also. Yeah, he's
Same.
probably talking about vampires.
Okay.
Maybe some vampires were following, which might explain why the Devilman didn't show up. If you were being tailed by some vampires, maybe
He doesn't want competition or anything.
or doesn't want to
interfere.
deal with vampires and you. Right, that would definitely make sense.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
we've learned some interesting things. A, this Devilman he's got boundaries.
Sounds like a wimp to me.
You know what? Me too. Yeah. Killing people under the cover of darkness, picking them off the most vulnerable one at a time. It's kind of pathetic, really.
Yeah, it is.
B, I can't act at all.
You need a performance check on that. I should take a
But I
shot.
saved his soul, so I am not insulted.
Yeah.
That's my defense. Like, no, I saved his soul.
Oh, I didn't hear
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was
Very
thinking.
honest.
That was 100% attack against Bolt. And, like his assassination of Terrence.
Yeah, no,
That's
100%. That was completely honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just,
Like-
just happened to line up very well.
I, Larissa, just realized what was going on.
I thought you were doing it on
Sometimes.
purpose, honestly.
All right. So, with the evening being a bit of a bust, you probably all begin heading your. Where are you going to head to? Are you going to head back to your various living
I'm headed
quarters?
home. I've been
Okay, you're
up since
tired,
like
yeah.
7 o'clock this
Same.
morning.
Yeah.
Darwin's house? Everybody?
No.
No, I'm going to bed.
Party there? Celebration?
Yeah.
Saints won again?
I just cleaned. No.
Yeah.
Part of my place.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, before we leave though, I need everybody's numbers. And I pull out my pencil.
She writes them down. You're like, what?
Totally.
Why don't you just put it in your? Oh yeah. All right. So
Yeah, you're the only one I don't have.
Alright.
I'm gonna tell 'em- and I have a landline.
Really?
Yeah.
it works most of the time too.
You know what?
I do have a flip phone, like a flip
Nokia.
phone,
Little brick.
but
Yeah.
I have a razor. Those things are amazing.
No, it doesn't work. You have a Nokia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only thing that'll handle
Yeah.
you is a Nokia.
Yeah.
I have a
The only
Nokia, but I
thing that'll
try not to
handle
touch
you.
it too often.
Yeah.
So
We should get like those little secret Dakota ring clicker things.
Got a badge.
Yeah, that's
That's all he needs
yeah.
is a badge. That's-
too.
So, are we heading to Volt's place to celebrate, or what's the situation here?
I'm going home.
I'm
You're
going to
home.
bed.
You're going to bed. What do you?
What time is it? It's like,
It's about midnight.
Oh, toaster oven.
see what's it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I got y'all's toaster ovens in my
Oh, yeah.
car.
Nice.
Hand
Nice.
them toaster ovens. Are you going back to Volt's or what?
I'm just gonna get my toaster oven and head back home.
Okay.
That's what she says. She's
Yeah,
hanging
yeah,
around.
She gets her toaster oven.
Good
You get your
pop-up
toaster
rock.
oven. Head back to. He probably drops you off at your places from his car. You guys and drops you probably off too. It's a big enough car. You can fit 5 people in there. I mean, it is. You begin driving back to the warehouse that you have, Kylan. You get to the warehouse. You get out of the car. I'm gonna need an alertness check.
By the way, my bicycle is in the trunk.
Oh, is it okay?
2.
2. Okay. You begin heading up the stairs to the loft apartment that you have. And you notice standing up at the top of the stairs is the woman in the baseball cap.
Okay.
She's standing there and she says, so what is it? And she just kind of very casually leans against the wall. She says, what is it that allows a human to fly? Are you fairy? Are you, I don't know.
Sheer willpower.
She says, well, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you get for your alertness check?
I got a
2.
2 total?
2
Yeah.
total, okay. She says, well, you are an interesting one, that's for sure. And that's when you notice that out of the darkness around the bottom of the warehouse, that there seems to be 4 shadowy figures with very white skin that have kind of moved out where you can see them now.
How are they standing?
Just standing.
Well, like not in a line, spread out.
No, they're
like,
spread out. Yeah, they're
Okay.
spread out. And you can tell that they've spread out to the point where they're kind of in different places where you really couldn't get to any more than one of them at a time.
Okay.
They're definitely positioned themselves around where it's gonna be hard to get more than one at a time. Right. And she says, well, I was looking for something a little more specific besides sheer willpower.
Well, I certainly don't have to hide behind my friends to have a talk in the moonlight.
Oh, there's no one hiding. I'm standing waiting for you.
Yeah, as are they.
Yeah.
And I motion and I let them know that I know they're there.
Yeah. Well, they've stepped out where you can see them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So they made their presence
Yeah,
known.
yeah. They stepped out so you could see them. Yeah.
Okay.
And she says, well,
I'm gonna walk up the stairs like I'm gonna walk in to my warehouse or whatever,
Mhm.
and just brush by her and say, "Buy me dinner next time, and maybe we can talk."
and she looks at you and she says, well, then you'll need my name. The name's Anastasia. Okay.
Okay.
She says,
This might be something I need to write down. I'm borrow this pencil.
she says, name's Anastasia, and I'll definitely be in touch. You owe me dinner. and she leaps over the railing, which is about a 30-foot drop, hits the ground, takes it all to the knees and kind of just flexes her knees and lands. And she looks around at the 4 people who were there a minute ago, and now they're gone. And then she kind of saunters off out through the gate and leaves. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad she's his admirer.
Yeah, I think somebody's going to be dinner.
Yeah.